All right, hello YouTube. I'm kind of new on the scene, and this is just something I'm doing a dry run of. Basically, my channel is dedicated to giving my insight and opinions. I share with you my experiences through life, my observations, and I give a little advice to young African American men in hopes that they don't make the same mistakes that I did when I was young. So like I said before, this is what this channel is dedicated to. I could talk about anything. I could talk about how the fish and chips taste in Scotland, and or I could talk about who I think the greatest hip hop artist is. Anything like that. Anything that comes to mind. I'm kind of a person that likes variety, so I'll talk about a lot of things, and I'll share a lot of my experiences from my past, and share with you some things that I'm going to be doing in my later years, if I'm still around. A little bit about me. This is my avatar. I do like to draw, so this is an image of me. It's more of a younger version of me. I've been to the Navy, so I served about 13 years in the Navy. I did not retire, so I've seen a little bit of the world. I know what's out there. I have made a lot of mistakes in my life, and many people do. And I've made some smart decisions in my life. Probably made more bad than smart, but it is what it is, and life goes on, and we all learn from our past experiences. We learn from our mistakes, and we can't dwell on them. We just got to keep it moving. And I'm going to start off by talking about, first of all, I like to say that I'm getting up there in age, and pretty soon I'm going to be thinking about retirement, and I'm trying to figure out where I want to go and live for my retirement years. Which brings me to the topic of a gentleman that I've been watching on YouTube. I think many people know him as Mr. Traveler of Tailor-Made Dreams. He's always discussing how he travels abroad, and mainly it's the Caribbean and Latin America area. And excuse me if I'm making mistakes, because I'm doing this right off. This is not scripted. I'm not reading from a paper. This is right off the top of my head. So if I make mistakes, please forgive me. But anyway, I like to talk about his experiences. I like this brother because I like the advice that he gives to people, and he's not afraid to share in the wealth of this the adult. I want to say Disneyland, as he calls it. I may be wrong. He lives in Sosua, so I mean, him and we both been in the Navy. I had a taste of what's outside of the U.S. And I probably didn't go to many places as he did, because I only did 2 years on the ship. But man, our ship toured to Rhodes, Spain, and Glen Douglas, Scotland. And Russell, I believe his name is, from Tailor-Made Dreams, talked about how he felt more welcome in other countries than he did in his own homeland, which is the United States. And I can't agree with him more. He's absolutely right about that. we went to Scotland twice, and we were doing some ammo offloads. And my experience in Scotland was unforgettable. I'm now getting close to my 50, being 50, and the last time I was outside of the U.S. was when I went to Rhoda, Spain, and Scotland back in 93 and 94. And I don't know how it is now over there, but Scotland, wow. The people welcomed us with open arms. I was able to walk down the street without looking behind my back, without worrying about some police pulling me over or just, it's weird because here I am, an African American walking down in this local neighborhood in Scotland, and nobody's gawking at me and nobody's really staring at me at all. It's just like I just blended in. And I was able to do this alone. But yeah, the women over there, beautiful. The accent is off the, oh man, it's off the charts. Because when these females speak to you, you just melt. And they consider a good-looking man lovely. That's exactly what they call handsome men, lovely. You look lovely. And I'm not doing that accent any justice because it's so unique. But there was some sort of language barriers in there at some point, time or point, because of the thick accent, and they spoke kind of fast. But for the most part, they speak English, so you can understand what they're saying. And I met a couple of friends down there, both female and male. We all hung out in the downtown area of Glen Douglas. We hung out in Glasgow, Edinburgh. It was just a blast. I mean, they were so friendly over there, and the big thing to eat over there was fish and chips. It was normal to see people standing on side of a street or sitting on a bench eating fish and chips because that was the norm. The places that we went to that sold the fish and chips, they didn't have a place to sit down inside, so we just got the food and walked across the street to a bench or whatever, and we ate and socialized. And there's nothing that could compare to their fish and chips. Over here in the U.S., it's not fish and chips the way the Scottish people make them. It is so good. The vinegar and the salt and those thick fries, that is some good stuff. And I want to go back. I haven't been able to go back because of finances. I'm not complaining. I'm just stating the fact. But I've met people who actually had to go to Scotland for business trips. And man, that would be awesome. But I had a great time over there. Between the three places I went while I was overseas, between Gitmo, Spain, and Scotland. Scotland was by far the best place. I was invited into people's homes. Locals bought me drinks. Man, it was just awesome. I couldn't even believe it. And then the fact that I had to go back to America, man, it's just like what a difference. What a culture shock. I mean, these people just, man, I just don't understand it. And I go back in a heartbeat if somebody paid my trip. But yeah, and we got around town by walking or taking cabs. And one time I took a bus with a couple of friends. And now remember, this was the 90s, and then on the bus there's this radio that plays, and SWV came on, and I was like, wow. Now I'm kind of feeling like home, like I'm at home when I hear that kind of stuff. They embrace our music, they love our music anyway. And I hear them sitting on this foreign bus in a foreign country, chatting it up with locals and and SWV comes on the radio on the bus. And I don't even think it was a radio station. I think it was just a CD or cassette player just playing selected songs or whatnot. But yeah, I can still smell, I can still taste that fish and chips. I can still see the visionary aspects of it, of being in Scotland. And then Road of Spain. Well, Road of Spain is a beautiful place. Sorry about that, people. But Road of Spain is a beautiful place. The weather was warm all the time. Beautiful beaches, topless beaches. Tried to converse with some of the locals. It was kind of hard. I had my little Spanish dictionary with me, and I was trying to communicate with them. But they didn't welcome us like the Scottish people did. They were nice, but they just didn't welcome us like the Scottish people, and I didn't have as much fun. I walked around a little bit, it was okay. I mean, I was able to buy a large drink for cheap, which was awesome. The atmosphere is nice. What else? Nightclub scene was awesome. I remember going to this one nightclub in Spain, and they were playing one of the popular songs by Ace of Base at the time, and people just loved that stuff. And the clubs, I think the majority of the clubs ended at 5 o'clock in the morning. So, I mean, people stay in all day basically, but when they go out and they stay up late, well into the morning. But I had fun in Spain as well, but nothing compared to Scotland. So I just want to talk about that a little bit. Once again, I'm talking from my past experience. As I stated before in my opening, this channel is dedicated to talking about my past experiences, observations, any advice and opinions that I may have. And Tailor-Made Dreams reminding me of what traveling abroad is like and how much I miss that. And who knows, maybe I'll get to Sasua one day and experience what he experiences. But this video is dedicated to Tailor-Made Dreams. Thanks for giving out the info to everybody. Not only do you have good travel advice, but you have good advice, period. Plus, especially when you talk about having common sense going overseas and things like that. I'm from a rough neighborhood in Michigan, so I do have some street smarts, and I do like to watch my back. But this video is getting a little long, and that's all I have to say. If you have your thoughts or opinions on what I've talked about, please express them. If you've traveled abroad like I have, please let me know. And if you're a fellow Navy person, please hit me up. All right, I'm out.